Hello everyone. My name is Aves, and as you know, I run Centaurus Academy, and also I have been teaching physics. Today, the result came out, and I just want to talk about that for a moment. So, when you're basically now, I know a lot of people are stressed. People are thinking, okay, we got really bad results, we got really good results. Some of them got like average results, and everybody's like, what to do, right? So, few things I would like to talk about right now would be, first of all, let's talk about the people who have achieved great in today's result, and I really want to congratulate all of you, irrespective of what grades you got. But frankly speaking, I would say that be humble if you've really achieved well and work harder in your future, whether you're an A2 student going towards a university or whether you are an AS student who will still appear for A2 next year. So, and of course, the IG students have not received the result yet, so I can't comment on that. But in true sense, I think being humble right now would be the best thing, right? Because you see, a lot of people around you, the great achievers, might not have done the same. And when you go about saying that, okay, look at my result and look at other people's result, that really creates sort of depression amongst your peers, and that's not a good thing. Now, coming to the result overall, first of all, I'll talk about physics in general. You might have noticed that physics, specifically 9702 result, was not as good as expected, and the reason was that the grade boundaries were really high this time. Because of that, a lot of people felt that, okay, they had a really bad experience when they were doing the exam for mathematics, but they really did well in physics. But still, on the results card, it was not the same. So, in my opinion, sometimes what happens is when there are easier exams, so even like the formula that they use, the standard deviation between one grade and the other is very small. So, even if you lose 1 or 2 marks, or maybe 3 or 4 marks, that basically changes the whole grade. So, that would actually would have a significant impact on your result. So in general, I see that a lot of people have achieved, and some good candidates who made very small mistakes might have not received results according to their expectations. Now, it's nothing to worry about, because the thing is that this is how the system is, and because you have relative grading, and you should understand that obviously some people might have managed it better. Now let's talk about the people who have received basically an A grade. So what do they need to do? First of all, if you have received a small A in your AS, make sure you work really hard, because sometimes what happens is that when components grade will come out, you'll see that you might have received like 2 A's and a B. Now, to do that, you need to understand that if you want to convert this A into an A star, you need to get higher A's in your A2. So I would say that basically you need to keep on working as hard that you've worked, and you have, received that grade, which is, I mean, a great thing, an achievement for its own. Now, speaking for the B graders who have received a grade small b, so let's talk about AS first. So if you've received B and you're thinking, okay, what would I do now, because you have received it, so you guys need to not worry about repeating it. The reason I would suggest is that you can easily turn it into an A or even an A star. Depends on what your component grades were. So let's suppose you had 2 B's and 1 A in your component grades. So basically you will still be able to achieve A star. The reason is that you need to see how much gap is remaining. So at least in A2, out of those 130 marks that you need, you need about 70 or 80 marks to achieve that, right? So if you believe that you might not have scored the same marks, like that is the gap remaining. So in that case, I would still say settle for an A, because A is a great grade as well, and start working on your university applications right now, because right now if you have received an A or a B, it's good enough for your university applications, and make sure that you focus on that. So you don't need to waste your money in going again for October, November, because it would actually negatively impact your A2. How I believe that does it, that basically now if you start studying for AS, so your focus will be on AS, and then you waste like August, September, and October. Now, about October, like at the end of the October, the exams are going to start. That's going to last till November, and now you have actually wasted like 3 to 4 months of A2, you know, practice, which means that now you have to cover a lot, and now you already have a good grade. You don't need to spend that much time in improving that, rather than you spend that valuable time in improving your A2s. Now you should basically, right now you might be like thinking that what went wrong, that you got a B grade. The only thing that went wrong was that you did not practice enough. So people who get a B grade have good concepts. They have clear concepts. They get B grades because they make silly mistakes. It means there was an issue with your practice routine, and you need to fix that. Make sure that you give enough time for your AS, enough time for your physics study. Make sure that you give at least 1 hour daily. Take that out, practice as many questions that. One of the reasons why people do silly mistakes is that they start rote learning from the mark schemes, so don't do that. Mark schemes basically tend to give you a sense of sort of validation, which is wrong because you see in the exam you don't have a mark scheme to look at. You have to trust your instincts that okay, what I've done is right, and that really depends on how well your concepts are. So I would suggest that don't basically look at mark schemes. Do the whole unit without that, and then see what you got wrong, and then you go back to your notes, you go back to the teacher, go back to the videos, whatever you're watching or doing. Learn again, clear your concepts, go back to that question again, see if you can do it now. Do not attempt that question looking at mark scheme. That is the worst thing that you can do with yourself. Now, speaking of the C graders now, so it really depends. Okay, so C graders are in the most tricky position, because now their decision of appearing in October, November, or taking A2 again is complicated. Now you got to wait for your component grades. So let's suppose if you have 2 Bs and a C in your component grade, and for some reason you did really bad in paper 2, and for some reason you got a really bad grade in that, you can still turn it into an A. But those C graders who have straight Cs, practically speaking, you cannot go beyond a B grade in the end, because A2 is a very difficult year with physics, and you need to practice a lot. So I would say that for you, if you have a low grade like 2 Cs or a D or 3 Cs, you can basically attempt the whole A level again and try to make sure that you get a better result that time. So that would be my advice, but you don't have to worry about it, because C grade does mean that you have certain concepts that you do not fully understand, and as you go through A2, a lot of questions basically use AS concepts. So your concepts from AS needs to be very, very clear. So I would suggest that you basically focus on your concept building, and as you study A2, do not rush in for October, November. If it's of it doesn't really add anything to anything to your overall performance. In fact, it negatively affects it, because now you have to prepare for May, June. So for C graders, you need to decide what you're going to do after your component grades are there. So if your component grades again are B, B, C, or even B, C, C, you don't need to repeat it. You just aim for an A. Uh, but if your components grade are straight C's or two C's in D, or something like C and DD, you definitely need to repeat to get a better grade. For all other grades like D, E, and U's, I would suggest that you guys start preparing for both A2 and AS right now, and do not break it. Like, you do not have to sacrifice your A2. Do not attempt October, November. It would be a really bad thing to do right now, because uh, coping up with October, November, which is just around the corner, and A2 together is very, very hard. I certainly do not believe that you have no reason. But if you still feel that, okay, I have been studying, or you were expecting that your grade would have been affected by, maybe you were sick, maybe you did not practice well, maybe there were certain personal issues that happen with all of us, and you still think, okay, this was the real problem, and I can really achieve more better in October, November, then obviously, if you have good practice, you can go for it. Then comes those people who have basically bad grades in all subjects. If you have bad grades in all subjects, there are two possibilities for that. One, you intentionally did not study anything last year, to be very honest and brutal here. The other thing is, your subjects might not be right for you. So you need to think about it, that whether these subjects I plan to do I plan to settle with these subjects for my whole life, because then you have to choose the university to do the same thing. Are you really interested in that? Are you interested in physics or chemistry or math, or are you interested in biology? Or if you have just bad grade in math, I'm sorry. So are you basically interested in that? So you have to decide. And in 1 year, I believe that it's very hard for somebody to achieve like shift subjects and do that. But still, you still have time to decide whether this is right for you, because your life depends on it. Other than that, I believe, please do not take it personally. Sometimes what happens is that a lot of people say grades are something that is not necessary, right? I'm sorry, I have a bad throat. I just had to make this video. Grades do matter for good universities you need to get in. But the life that you have does not depend on grades. So you need to understand that. A lot of people in my lifetime that I've seen had really bad grades, but they achieved a lot more than me, although I had good grades. And that's not because they were better or worse. It's because sometimes the life is like this, right? There's a better plan for you. So people who are thinking that their life is destroyed, they can't do anything now, they failed, maybe they got straight U's, maybe you got straight A's, and you're thinking, okay, this is what it is. Please make sure and understand that life is not about this. You can still be a great person. You can still be a great human being, a great businessman, a great, philanthropist. I don't know what. Whatever your life or wherever your life takes you, there has to be only one thing that you should learn, and that is consistency. So let's suppose from today, make sure whatever you've decided for yourself, you got to be consistent. Do not give up on yourself, because you are amazing and God has made you like this because you have a purpose within this whole world, and that purpose is very significant. So don't go into depression, don't go into anxiety of what may come, right? Just make sure that if you are in whatever state right now, make sure that you believe in yourself, that you are going to do it. And I'm sure down the line, you are going to achieve it. And a lot of people have done it. So please don't worry, and make sure that you do not overthink and be overconfident, underconfident, whatever you're feeling right now. I understand. I've been through this whole episode as well in about 10 years ago. But I would still say that do not lose hope, and you will do great because you are made to do great things. So I would finish it here. It's a long video now. And honestly, if you require any help, any personal help as well, regarding an advice, not financial help, I'm sorry about that. So I would always help you with that. Good luck to you. Have a great future for especially the A2 students who have just beginning their new chapter in their life. And see you soon.